We get this quite often, and it's kind of funny. We come out to clean the septic tank, and the homeowner is just like, this is such a hassle. This is a pain having to deal with this. I just wish I was on city sewer. I had city water and city sewer, and I wouldn't have to deal with having you guys come out to clean our tank. And okay, there's something to that, but here's my response.
That's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude. Answering your questions in the pod shed right now. Misinformation, I'm sick of it, I'm sick of it. With us we'll cut out all of the bull. That's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude, that's the Pumperdude. Answering your questions in the pod shed right now. Please give us a like, please give us a don't forget to subscribe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Ask the Pumperdude. My name is Jake Chamberlain, and I'm glad that you're here with us. You can see we're back. I haven't done an episode out in the pod shed in a while, so it feels good to be out here. I don't know, it just feels right. So thanks for being here, and I'm ready to answer a few more of your questions. So question number one, we get this quite often, and it's kind of funny. We come out to clean the septic tank, and the homeowner is just like, this is such a hassle. This is a pain having to deal with this. I just wish I was on city sewer. I had city water and city sewer, and I wouldn't have to deal with having you guys come out to clean our tank. And okay, there's something to that, but here's my response. There are several reasons that I think are big reasons why I would prefer to be on a private septic system and have my own private well for water. Number one is the cost. Typically when you add up the amount of money that you're paying over time for your city water bill or your your municipal sewer bill, you are going to be paying a lot more over the course of time than the cost even to install most septic systems and the cost of maintaining your tank cleanings over the course of that time. So usually, if you're spending several $100s a year, sometimes even more depending on where you are, on your water and sewer bill, just your tank cleaning costs are usually much lower than that. You're going to be spending a few $100s over the course of several years rather than every month or every quarter spending a few $100s. So that cost right there is much less. And over time, that is also going to save you when you have to do repairs or even replace your system. Now, that's great. Saving money, I think, is always on the top of everyone's mind. But what I think is even more important is the health and safety aspect of having your own private system compared to sharing a system with many hundreds and sometimes thousands and tens of thousands of people. We just had recently in a neighboring community to us a situation where there was a water main break in one town, and that water main break in that town caused several other communities around them to have to go into a boil alert for their water. So in this situation, the city water that you're paying for every month or every quarter, you're not allowed to use it in the way that you need to. You don't have clean drinking water anymore because there was an issue, not even in your yard, not in your neighborhood, not even in your town, in the next town over, or in some cases multiple towns over. An issue in that town caused you to not have clean drinking water. Okay, so as opposed to having your own private well that you're solely in charge of. Your neighbor doesn't provide your water. Your town or your neighborhood doesn't provide you with your water. You're in charge of it yourself. So if someone else does something that affects their water supply, it has no effect on mine. Okay, so that's one example where having your own private well is much safer, and you're in total control over your water supply rather than relying on government-run municipalities and their treatment systems and their infrastructure of how the water gets from somewhere far away to your house. So I think that's a huge one. And the other one is with the with your municipal sewer system. I'm sure you've seen on the news where there's flooding or there's some kind of break in the line down the system somewhere, and you see whole neighborhoods, basements filling up with sewage. I've never had to experience that, but I sure do not want to ever experience that. You know, having someone else's, it's hard to explain these things politically correct, but having someone else's stuff being pushed into your basement and filling up your basement with, several inches or sometimes feet of water and sewage and everything that's in sewage, ruining your basement and everything you had in there, and then having to go through all that cleanup and the health hazard that is. I've now been affected by someone else, or Mother Nature, and maybe the infrastructure of all your sewer systems being connected and not being able to drain properly, flooding you with the things that we never want coming into our house. So when we have our own private septic system, it's just me. It's just me in charge of my health and my safety of my family. Someone doing something causing an issue down the road isn't going to affect me. Mother Nature is not going to affect me. And I'm in control. So again, me personally, I prefer saving money. I prefer being in control of my water and my drainage, my ability to continue to be able to flush the toilets. I'd prefer to be in control of that than be at the mercy of who knows how many other people that could potentially cause issues for me there. So you can make your own call, but I personally prefer to have private septic and well. So the next question that we received, and this is one we've seen before. The question was, so typically in a septic tank, we've got the inlet at this level and we've got the outlet at this level, right? There should be roughly 4 inches of separation between the level of where the line comes in from the house and the level where the line goes out to the drain field. So, of course, the reason for that is that we have to have room. So once that septic tank is active, it fills up with water out to the level of the line that goes out to the drain field. And at that level, we've got solids building on the top, we've got solids on the bottom, but we've got that separation so that the line doesn't get blocked coming in from the house by the solids that start to build up on the top of the tank. And we're going to have some accumulation there between cleanings. So having that separation allows us to continue to drain properly from the house into the tank. And so the question is, what happens when something wasn't installed properly and those lines are even or very close to each other. So this question came from someone who was having an issue where between cleanings, the solid level, the layer of solids on the top of the water level in the septic tank would build up and it would start blocking off that inlet line and causing them to back up in the house. Far premature to where you should be having an issue between cleanings. So the question is, how do we deal with this? Is this going to cost me a lot of money? Is this going to be a big hassle to try and lower the outlet of the tank so it's lower than the inlet, or try to raise the inlet? So there's a few different ways that we can tackle this. So number one, yeah, it would be perfect and it would be ideal for us to gain that separation. So either lowering the outlet or raising the inlet to create that separation between inlet and outlet. So there's a few things that we have to take into account here. Raising the inlet, probably the toughest thing to do, right? We have to maintain that proper fall from the house to the tank. So if we raise it up and make it too level, or it's going uphill now from the house to the tank, that's not helping our issue of backing up in the house. So that's usually not going to be an option. Lowering the line from the tank to or the outlet line, lowering where it is in the tank, can sometimes be an option. That's going to be dependent on how much fall was provided between the tank and the drain field. If there was just a bare minimum fall when it was installed, it's going to be tough because, again, if we lower that line where it goes out of the tank, we start to create an uphill effect of where that line is running from the tank to the drain field. If there is plenty of fall, then we will have the option to excavate that line, open up the area where the line comes into the tank and lower that line, and then seal, reconcrete in that wall, and cover up that line, and that would take care of it. Now, is that a lot of work? Yes. Not something that the average homeowner is going to do on their own, and that's probably going to that could cost into the thousands of dollars to have that repair done. So yeah, that's going to be costly, and it's not something that's easy to do. So as a homeowner, is there anything that you can do? There is. What I would recommend trying before you have to go through a repair like that to create that separation, what you can do is add an inlet tee. So this would be identical to the tee that we add as the outlet device on the outlet end of the tank. So typically we've got the line going out of the tank, comes through the wall up to, towards the top of the tank. We've got a T on the end of it, and we've got a little bit of pipe going off the bottom. And that's there to stop the solids from getting out to the drain field and let the clean water from the center part of the tank come up and go out to the drain field. We can install the exact same setup on the inlet side. And what that's going to do, we've got the line coming into the tank. And remember, this is in the situation where those the inlet and the outlet are very close to each other. So sometimes even that water level will be right into the inlet. So what happens is that those solids accumulate on the top of the tank, and they end up plugging off that inlet line and causing a backup. So if we install, and obviously we would want to do this right after the tank was emptied, so we've got room to do this, add this inlet T. What we're going to do is we've got the line coming into the tank, and just the same way, and I can add a link to our outlet device video, but this is very simple. Usually you're going to have enough pipe coming into the tank where you can have a T where you've got, you know, the three fittings on your sanitary T. You've got one on the top here, one on the bottom, and one in the middle. On the bottom, we're going to add a little section of pipe, you know, 12 to 18 inches of pipe off the bottom, and then that middle fitting is going to glue right onto your inlet pipe. And it seems like, well, that's just going to cause you to back up anyways, right? What actually happens is that's going to create a barrier, so the crust layer of solids that builds up on the top of our water level in the tank is now not going to be able to plug off that line, and it's going to be, that line is being protected by that T. And the solids that come in, there's plenty of water behind that that's going to push down the T and into the tank. So now that those solids come in, get pushed out the bottom of that T out into the tank, they're going to separate, the solids are going to separate to the top and the bottom. We're still going to have our nice clean clear zone in the middle that's going out to the drain field. And now we should be able to get a longer period of time between tank cleanings without having that crust layer blocking off the inlet line. So I hope that's clear. And maybe I can make another video at some point, and I can give you a little bit of an illustration, or I can actually show you with some pipe how that's going to go. But again, inlet line, that pipe comes from the house into the tank. We add a T on the end of it. That T is going to protect that inlet line from the crust layer that forms on the top of the tank. So we're not going to have that plugging off the line anymore. And the solids that do come in are going to get pushed out the bottom of that inlet T and go into the tank like normal. And then we like I said, we've protected that inlet line from being blocked off from the crust layer in the tank. So again, that's certainly a repair that most homeowners would feel comfortable doing on their own, and it's going to be a much less expensive fix for the issue, and much easier to install. So I hope that helps and can save you some time and save you some money, and while taking care of that backup problem for you. So our last question today is another really important one, and it is one that you want to think about when you have a septic system that has a pump component to it. So this is going to be most of our engineered systems. And the question was, what happens if you have a pump system and the power goes out? Am I still going to be able to use my facilities if the power goes out? And that's a great question, because, right, it's real basic. That pump needs electricity to run. If the power goes out, there's no electricity to run the pump. Now, what's going to happen? Well, typically, an engineered system is going to be designed where you have a little bit of wiggle room. So typically, where the pump is going to be set near the bottom of the tank, so that you've got, let's make it real simple. Our tank is this deep, okay, from top to bottom in the pump chamber where the pump is located. The pump is down here at the bottom. So as water gets used in the house, it's going to push that same amount of water from our septic tank into the pump chamber. And as the water fills up in the pump chamber, somewhere maybe about a third of the way up, it's going to tell the pump to kick on, and that water is going to get pumped down. And then the pump is told to turn off. And so that water level in the tank is going to go up, or in the pump chamber, is going to go up and down, you know, in the middle part of the tank and down. So we've got all this extra room. If we did have a situation where either the pump fails and isn't turning on for some reason, or there's a power outage and there's no electricity for the pump to turn on, you're going to typically have somewhere between 300 to 500 gallons of extra space in your pump chamber before you're going to start having to worry about having a backup in the house. So if you do have an issue where the power goes out, it's not going to be a situation where, oh, I just can't run any water. I mean, a lot of the times, if you are on a septic system, you're also going to be on a well, so you're not going to have any water there either. But you will be able to have drainage, and especially if you are in a situation where you may have city water but you have a private septic system. You're going to be fine to go ahead and keep using that water, but you're going to want to be real conscious of it, right? So I would avoid doing anything that's using a large amount of water. I would hold off on doing any laundry, hold off on dishwasher, those type of things. Take quick showers, and then limit any other water that gets used. But you're certainly okay to use, flush the toilet, use your facilities, and just try to use it on as minimally as you can, because again, if you have a prolonged outage, you at some point you're going to run out of space. But with if you have 300 plus gallons of water to use, that's a lot of toilets being flushed. That's you can definitely get away with some quick showers and that kind of thing. So most power outages can be out for a day or two. You're going to be okay as long as you just be conscious of your water. You're not going overboard with it. Try to hold off on the laundry, any other large water use items, and you'll be able to get by. So typically we are set up to be able to handle that. All right, so that is all of the questions I have right now. I appreciate you guys getting into the comment sections on our videos, and keep them coming. We're happy, and we are here to answer your questions. So again, my name is Jake Chamberlain. This is Ask the Pumperdude, and I appreciate you being here with me. I'll see you on the next one.